Nesiv Shalom says that every yontif that we celebrate has a special Yeshua that's waiting for us. We tap into a salvation, and it's b'chol dor v'dor. Like we say, b'yom mehem bazman hazeh, it's niskarim v'nasim, Yimei HaPurim niskarim v'nasim, in every generation. It happens to us. So what was the actual miracle of Purim that was different than other Yom Tovim? And that's what we can get out of this one. He says over here, page Tesvav, V'zeu pirish rebach v'atzol yamad laYehuda mimakam acher. That salvation will come from a different place. What is makam acher, from a different place? Yesh etzel Yehudi she'over hesteru. There are times that a person goes through darkness. Im zerak begashmis, it could be physical, sickness, emotional, these physical stuff. Oyafilu baruchnius, a person can go through spiritual hester panim. Spiritually, he's not connecting. He feels like he's not connected. But he could still be mechazik himself and grab onto it. Shehu margish adayin as hakir v'la Hashem yisbarach. Means whether your problem is physical, emotional, financial, spiritual, but you can feel like you can jump out, you could ask Hashem for help, you speak to Him, He's going to listen to you, you have that to jump up to, that's called regular Hester Panim. Person, God forbid, gets a diagnosis or a question, we run to Hashem. Person struggling with Ruchnius, he can run to Hashem. And that's Hester Ragel, that's normal life for us. Normal Hester Panim. Achyesh Hester Kafel. A person can have a double Hester. A double, how do you say Hester? Like a blockage. Concealment. Thank you. Shu bechinas nestalka mimena shchina. It's like a concept of like that the Shechina leaves him. Shekfar einoi margish klal sheyesh le'amal ismoich. He doesn't feel anymore that he can rely on Hashem. He just feels like all abandoned. Not just going through darkness, not just I'm not into davening or I can't connect to Hashem, or he just feels like I'm all alone. Like Hashem is just like not responding to me. Ubematzav zeh hu mevatel atzmoi k'moi shehu es olam hazeh v'es olam haba umispatel lagamri laHashem yisbarach. What do we do in such a situation? In that situation, you say, Hashem, I give you everything. All my olam hazeh, all of my olam haba, I'm mevatel myself to you. And that's what breaks through the darkness. And that's what happened on Purim. Hashem, for some reason you don't want me to feel your connection, I accept that. I'm mevatel myself to you. I'm an ant. I'm not complaining. I'm an ant. I don't expect anything. I don't need anything. I don't want anything. And if you mevatel yourself to Hashem, then that's how you break through that kind of darkness. It says in the Torah, I'm going to hide myself, a double lashon. Hastir, astir, panei b'yemahu, double concealment. She'af b'yemahu, even on such a day, kisharnoichi hastir, astir, behester kafel, that I'm blocking you twice. Shegam nistalka mimena shchina, ve'einu margish es Hashem yisbarach. When we feel like the Shekhinah leaves us, like Esther Hamalka, Keli lama zaftani, she went into Achashverosh and she said, Hashem, Keli lama zaftani, why are you leaving me? And even in such a matzav, and he feels far and distant, separated, cut off, completely, physically and spiritually, he can't find a place in this world, and he doesn't see how can I become strong. You know what you do? Where does it come from? The end of the pasuk. What's the end of the pasuk? Anoichi hastir astir. You should know panei b'yemahu. Mevatel kula leHashem yisbarach. Find that Hashem is behind all of that. No matter what the darkness is that we have, behind all of that is a Hashem and wants us to reach out to Him, and that's what breaks through the darkness. And that's what happened on Purim. Purim is Esther Minatari Minayin, Anochi Haster Aster. Purim was a time of kafel. Not only did we have a terrible, terrible gzera against us, but it was nechtav v'nechtam b'tabas hamelach. How did we break through it? Mordechai HaTzadik said, I know that even in such a darkness, you're really there. I know that you're going to save us. I know that Revach v'atzol yamad laYehuda mimakam acher. I know that you're there. So sometimes we go through problems, we go running to Hashem. Sometimes it's hard to run to Hashem. We feel like we're not even connecting. In that time, we got to double down. 2 Hester Panims, we got to double down the opposite way. We got to go full in and say, I know that you're there, and I know you just want me to reach out to you and go through the darkness. Tzaddikim call Chatzos Laila, which is the darkest part of the night, is Chatzos, the middle of the night. Chatzos Laila, Chatzos also means to break. You have to break the darkness. Chatzos Laila. We're a lot of times facing tremendous darkness, and it's like we feel like, okay, I'm going to give up. The opposite. You got to be all in. The opposite. You got to realize that through that extra darkness, Hashem is there, and He's testing us to see what would happen if we felt that He deserted us. Are we going to believe that He deserted us? That is the nisayon. Sometimes the challenges in finance or the challenges in other things, sometimes the challenge is so deep that I want you to feel like I gave up on you. Are you going to believe it or not? Are you going to believe it or you're not going to believe it? Where do we see this? There was somebody, Reb Meir. Reb Meir's Rebbe was Acher. We don't even say his name. We call him Acher. Why? Because he was a total atheist. Acher was very, very holy because he had such powers. He went up to Shemayim and he heard a baskel comes out. Heavenly voice comes out and says, everybody can come back to me except Acher. Right? It says in the Siva Shalom, Acher was so bad that in order for him to do tshuva, they threw an extra nisayon at him, that he should think that he's not wanted. That was part of the nisayon. He did so many averos. He was so anti. In order for him to do tshuva, remember, when we do tshuva, we do tshuva me'ahava, the averos become mitzvahs. We do tshuva me'yira, the averos get forgiven. The tshuva has to be as big as the averos. His averos was so big that a regular tshuva, so to speak, wouldn't have helped. So they said, you know what, we're going to give him a chance. We're going to give him a chance to do massive tshuva. How? We're going to give him a huge nisayon. That he's going to hear Hashem say, I'm not interested in. Says in the Siva Shalom, if he would have said, I don't believe you, and I'm going back to you anyway, that would have been his tshuva. Don't believe those signals. And we all have to know this, and our children need to grow up with this. Never believe that basko, or sometimes it's a principal or father, a benko. Don't believe if somebody says that Hashem lost interest in you. There's no such thing. It's impossible. And sometimes that feeling inside is just part of the nisayon that we have to overcome. When we do overcome it, it's like dominoes. It's like Othello. Everything flips back the other way, and we see that Hashem is there and has been there with loving arms. Why does Hashem give us this nisayon? We don't know. Why does Hashem make it so hard for some people who want to be close to Him? We don't know. Why does Hashem take people, kids, and make them feel like, there was a girl who was 15 years old, and she said, I used to call out to God until I realized as many times as I'm calling out, I'm on the phone, nobody's on the other side. We don't know. We know Hashem's not too busy. We know that there's a reason, but that's a Hester Kuffel. A Hester Kuffel that not just when I'm in a problem I call out to you and you save me, but I have a problem and I have another problem that I feel like you're not listening to me. That's such a dark galus. That's such a dark galus. So we have now Purim as a time of year that we were zoicha to see salvation in the darkness. Esther is Anachi Haster Aster Panabeyamahu. So we have to use our Purim. He says that Purim is a day for salvation. L'mala miderech hateva. Purim is a day to get saved on things that you can't get saved the rest of the year. There's a lot of other times, like Pesach, and he always has, it's always another time, another chance. I asked his son-in-law, Shlomo Weinberg, Shlita, the Sheshiva of Slanim, and the son-in-law of the Nesiv Shalom, I said, what does it mean, like you learn Purim, it's like amazing. You learn Pesach, this is the only time of the year. You know, Purim he calls Achas Bashana, once in the year. Yom Kippur is Achas Bashana. Every Shabbos is the Shabbos. You know, like my kids ask me, which is really the biggest Shabbos of the year? Because every Shabbos in the Nesiv Shalom is the greatest Shabbos in the ganze year, right? Every Shabbos is the biggest Shabbos. So he answered me very smart. He said that, which is the most important vitamin? Well, if you look at vitamin C, it's the most important vitamin, right? You look at vitamin B, vitamin D. Every vitamin in its own way is the most important vitamin and is really, really super important. And you need to have all different vitamins. Every yontif, there's another hashpah, there's another shefa, there's something else to take, to put in our pocket, to put in our hearts, to put in our minds to last us through the year. The stuff, the chizuk that we get from Purim is that even when it's nechtav V'nechtam b'tabas hamelech malkei shel olam. Even when Hashem signs off on the Gzeir, Rachmana litzlan, still we know that that Gzeir can be broken. So we should always zeicha to see all whatever Gzeiros there are and Yeshuas and Nefus that we need that look really difficult, and there are many difficult, challenging situations that we're dealing with a lot of darkness. We should all be zeicha, especially on Purim, to daven for Yeshuas, and we should see it with our eyes b'karev.